ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬಟ್ಟೆಯೋ ಕರುಣಾಬ್ಧಿ. ಲೇಷ ಪುಣ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪದ ರಾಶಿ ಬೆಳೆಯಿತಲ್ಲ. ಲೇಷ ಪುಣ್ಯವಿಲ್ಲ ಪಾಪದ ರಾಶಿ ಬೆಳೆಯಿತಲ್ಲ. ಆಶಾವಶ ಹರಿದಾಸರೆಂದೆನಿಸಿದೆ, ಆಶಾವಶ ಹರಿದಾಸರೆಂದೆನಿಸಿದೆ, ದೂಷಣ ಜನರ ಶಭಾಸಿಗೆ ಮೆಚ್ಚಿದೆ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬಟ್ಟೆಯೋ ಕರುಣಾಬ್ಧಿ. ಹೀನರೈವರ ಸಂಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಹಾನಿಯಾದೇನೋ ರಂಗ. ಹೀನರೈವರ ಸಂಗದಿಂದಲೇ ಹಾನಿಯಾದೇನೋ ರಂಗ. ಪ್ರಾಣವು ನಿನ್ನ ಅಧೀನವಾದ ಮೇಲೆ, ಪ್ರಾಣವು ನಿನ್ನ ಅಧೀನವಾದ ಮೇಲೆ, ನೀನೇ ಗತಿ ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮೀ ನಾರಾಯಣ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬಟ್ಟೆಯೋ ಕರುಣಾಬ್ಧಿ. ಎಷ್ಟೋ ಅಪರಾಧಿ ಯಾವುದು ಬಟ್ಟೆಯೋ ಕರುಣಾಬ್ಧಿ.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. ॐ यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा यस्यान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः. After having given the highest knowledge, Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya, the highest truth is this consciousness alone. The world is nothing but an illusion appearing upon consciousness. So now Bhagavan is describing various types of people. He is dividing mankind based on their devotion for the Lord, their types of devotion for the Lord. So first Bhagavan mentions those who don't believe in the existence of God, the atheists. So what do Bhagavan speak about them? Moghasha moghakarmanaha moghatjnana vichetasaha rakshasiim asurim chaiva prakritim mohinim shritaha. Those people who don't have this knowledge, the knowledge of the highest reality, their knowledge is vain, their desires are in vain, and all their actions in life, they are in vain. Meaning their entire life becomes a total waste. What is their nature? Rakshasim asurim. Totally indulgent. That itself they consider as the highest goal of life. Pleasures of the world is considered to be the highest goal of life, and in order to gain these pleasures, they don't mind harming others. They are nothing but their lifestyle is asurik and rakshasi. They live in vain. Then Bhagavan immediately takes up the topic of the highest devotees, Mahatmas. How do they spend their time? The first thing is they have clear understanding about the highest reality. Jnatva bhutadim avyayam. And after having known this truth, now they are inspired to gain that truth. They put forth all their effort in gaining that truth. Mahatmanastu mam partha daivim prakritim ashritaha bhajantyananya manasaha jnatva bhutadim avyayam. So slowly, they strive hard, and ultimately they become one with God. How do they meditate upon God? Ekatvena prathatvena bahudha vishwato mukham. Sometimes they enjoy being one with God. Sometimes they revel keeping God as an Ishta Devata and having love relationship. In this way, they spend their time, and sometimes they see the entire world as a manifestation of the Supreme Lord. So some samples are given here. Whatever you see in this cosmos, everything is nothing but manifestation of God. And now this devotee is able to see God. Whatever happens in this world, good or bad, auspicious or inauspicious, this devotee sees only the hand of God everywhere. So he is always cheerful, always happy, always blissful. So this much we had seen. Now Bhagavan takes up another class of people. You cannot call them totally atheists. They do believe in God, but their devotion has a flavor of worldly desires. So let us chant the verse number 20 and 21. Traividyamam somapaf putapapaha yajñairištva svargatim prarthayante te punyamasadya surendra-lokam asnanti divyan divi deva bhogan te tam bhuktva svarga-lokam vishalam क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रयी धर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः गता-गतं kāma-kāmā लभन्ते त्रैविद्यामां सोमपाः पूतपापाः यज्ञैरिष्ट्वा स्वर्गतिं प्रार्थयन्ते ते पुण्यमासाद्य सुरेन्द्रलोकम् अस्नन्ति दिव्यान् दिवि देवभोगान् ते तं भुक्त्वा स्वर्गलोकं विशालं क्षीणे पुण्ये मर्त्यलोकं विशन्ति एवं त्रैधर्ममनुप्रपन्नाः gata-āgatam kāma-kāmāhā labhante. Yes. Now here is a description of a different class of devotees. Do they believe in God? Yes, they do believe in God. Do they believe in the Vedas? Yes, they do believe in the Vedas. But then, what is the purpose of their worship? The purpose of their worship is not to attain the truth, not to develop devotion for God, but it is only for attaining worldly desires. For them, God is the means, world is the goal, not the reverse. What about Mahatmas? God is the goal, world is the means. Then you are a Mahatma. But here, that is not the case. They want the worldly pleasures and they come to know that through God it can be fulfilled. So therefore, they are making use of God. But they are also considered devotees only. Now here, what does Bhagavan say? Traividyaha. Traividyaha means the Vedas, whatever rituals are given. Now there are so many rituals given in the Vedas. They are called as a karma-kanda portion of the Vedas. So many rituals are given. So if you have a particular desire in your mind, those desires can be fulfilled by performing certain rituals. There are certain mantras to be chanted. What kind of naivedyam has to be offered. How the ritual has to be performed. All the details are given. So if you perform those rituals properly, then whatever desire you have in the mind, that desire will be fulfilled. And among all the desire, the highest desire is the desire for Svarga. So these are the devotees who seek Svarga. Why do they seek Svarga? They seek Svarga because that is the culmination of all possible pleasures. They say that this world doesn't have much possibilities. You don't have the means to enjoy it, nor do you have the pleasures available. So if you want ultimate pleasures of the senses, you must seek Svarga. So now these devotees are seeking those pleasures. So what do? Traividyaha. Whatever rituals are there in the Vedas, they perform it meticulously. Somapaha. Somapaha means those who drink somarasa. Doesn't mean they are drunkards or anything. So after the end of the ritual, it is a norm. That is also part of ritual, that you drink a little bit of somarasa. Somapaha. Putapapaha. They have been freed from papas. Meaning they have been freed from all kinds of obstruction which will take them to Svarga-loka. Here it doesn't mean that they have total pure mind, etc. Not that. Putapapa means they have been purified from certain obstructions which would have otherwise become an obstacle in reaching Svarga. Putapapa yajñaihi ishtva, having worshipped me through the ritual. Svargatim prarthayante. What is their prarthana? What is their prayer? Svarga-gati is their prayer. They don't want God. What do they want? They want Svarga. Svarga means all sensory pleasures. The place where everything is available. Then what happens to them? Te punyam asadya. Having gained that punyam, because any yajña, homa, havana, yaga, etc., where Bhagavan is worshipped, Bhagavan is praised, everything will lead to punyam. So having attained that much of punyam, Where do they go? Surendra-lokam asadya, having attained Surendra-loka. Who is Surendra? Indra. Indra is the king. So his world is called Surendra-loka or Svarga-loka. Asadya, having attained. What do they do there? Devi, in that Svarga. Divyan Deva Bhogan Asnanti. Deva Bhogan, all those pleasures available for the Devatas. Divyan, divine, very, very subtle. Highest pleasures, Asnanti, they enjoy, they indulge. Right? Then what happens to them? Tetam bhuktva Svarga-lokam vishalam. After having enjoyed all those pleasures in those heavenly plains, tam vishalam Svarga-lokam bhuktva kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. And thus, having exhausted all punyas, they come back. Where do they come back? Martyalokam, the world of mortals. Which is the world of mortal? This is the one. So now, I am not going to entice you with the description of Svarga. It is said, in Svarga-loka, there is no old age. There is no disease. Right? You will have a young body, and with that body you can enjoy all kinds of pleasures. There is no death also. Nothing to fear. You can indulge as much as you want. But the condition is, with every indulgence there is a price to be paid. And what is the price? That much of punya is reduced. So you go to the Svarga with punya, isn't it? So normally they give the example of going to 5-star hotel, 7-star hotel, etc. Why do they allow your entry there? Because you have money. Now money is the what you call strength. So for everything which you purchase there in the hotel, you have to pay, isn't it? In the same way, here in Svarga-loka, it is not the dollar or the rupees which count. What is counted is your punya. How much punya have you done in this Martya-loka? Now every time you indulge in the pleasure, the indulgence also has grades, objects of indulgence. So everything has got a price tag. And with every indulgence, what you do? You have to shed off your punya. So definitely a time has to come when all your punyas will get exhausted. Then what happens? They come back. Evam Traidharmam Anuprapannaha. Those people who have taken refuge in Vedas. Traidharma here means Vedas. Now please understand, here we are not talking of Upanishads. They are called as the Jnana Kanda of Vedas. Here we are not talking of Jnana Kanda, we are talking of Karma Kanda, ritualistic portion of the Vedas. Where mantras are available, procedures are available to fulfill your desires. In Jnana Kanda, that is not the portion. Jnana Kanda is hardly 10% of the entire Vedas. 90% is only Karma Kanda. So these people who have kept this Jnana Kanda aside, they are only following the Karma Kanda with lot of desires in their mind, seeking those pleasures. What happens to them? Those who have taken refuge in the Karma Kanda portion of the Vedas, such kāma-kāmāhā, the term used is kāma-kāmāhā, desirer of desires, desirer of desirable objects, kāma-kāmāhā. What do they get? Gata-āgatam labhante. What do they get? Gata-āgata. Gata means going, agata means coming. So what they get is coming and going, coming and going. Normally when Swarga etc. is when it is described, people are not tempted easily. Because normally to get into Swarga you have to die. That is the first condition. So it doesn't inspire people much. To understand a little bit, it is something like the visit of US, UK, etc. Western countries. That is a much more better comparison. In Western countries, you have greater pleasures available, greater facilities available, comforts are available, isn't it? So naturally we are tempted. Ask any youngster, his dream will be to go there. Nowadays in society also, parents take great pride in saying my son is in US, UK, etc. working. Isn't it? Svarga is far away, forget about Svarga. This is something related to that. Where worldly pleasures are available, comforts are available, luxuries are available. So now this devotee, his interest is not in God. His interest is in the world, the worldly pleasures, comforts, luxury, etc. And now since God can be a means, therefore he has chosen this path. Not because he likes God. And now the means are given, so he takes up this mean. Now what does Bhagavan say here? Such a person who disregards me, ignores me and chooses the world, such a person, in the end, all his efforts are going to be in vain. Anyone who disrespects, disregards, neglects God can never be happy, in short. Kāma-kāmāhā, desirer of desires. You try anything you want in life, neglecting God, ignoring God, you can never be happy. So therefore, in life, choose only God. This is the point. And now Bhagavan says, the one who chooses me, he gets everything, including me. All those comforts, luxuries also he gets. At the same time, he gets me also. Let us chant verse number 22. Ananyas chintayanto maam ye janāh paryupāsate tesham nityabhiyuktānam Yoga-Kshemam vahāmyaham Ananyas chintayanto maam ye janāh paryupāsate tesham nityabhiyuktānam Yoga-Kshemam vahāmyaham. A very famous verse in Bhagavad Gita. What does Bhagavan say here? Ye janaha, those people. On the other hand, this has to be understood. On the other hand, those people. On the other hand means what? Other than those people who seek the world, those who seek me. What are the adjectives? Ananyāha, where there is no anyata. People who are ananyāha, who fix their mind upon me with no otherness, seeking me alone, desiring me alone, loving me alone, mam chintayantaha, ever fixing their mind upon me, without otherness, single pointed devotion. Such people, those jana who paryupāsate, who worship me single pointedly, wholeheartedly, tesham, to those people, nitya abhiyuktanam, ever steadfast in me, Yoga-Kshemam aham vahāmi, I take care of their yoga and kshema. So this Yoga-Kshemam vahāmyaham, people are very familiar with this term. It is the logo, right? Logo or motto, whatever, of LIC. Yoga-Kshema. They have stolen from here. Where is Bhagwan's Yoga-Kshema and where is their Yoga-Kshema? After that, they will pay you some money. That is their Yoga-Kshema. Here, Bhagavan's Yoga-Kshemam is different. Now we have to understand what is this Yoga-Kshema. What is yoga? So Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, Apraptasya prapanam yogaha. And what is Kshema? Tad rakshanam. So what is yoga? Apraptasya prapanam. So Bhagavan says, if there is a devotee who has totally dedicated his life for my sake, I take care of his yoga. Means whatever he needs and whatever he doesn't have, I provide for him. Whatever he needs, which he doesn't have, I provide. That is yoga. And Kshema. Kshema means what? Whatever one needs and what one has, I preserve it for him. I procure things for him, I also preserve things for him, so that he can all the time fix his mind upon me. Now this Yoga-Kshema is a very important term, because for most of us, 99% of our life is spent in Yoga-Kshema alone. Yes or no? What is yoga? Procuring that which I don't have. And what is Kshema? Preserving that which I have, already have. Just if you analyze your life, your entire life goes on procuring and preserving. Yes or no? Bhagavan says, for my devotee, I take care of it, so that he is left free. Isn't it a wonderful thing? Completely offer yourself to God, and then it is the responsibility of the God to take care of you. You don't have to worry at all. Yoga-Kshema. Remember, procuring and preserving is not an easy task. All our tension, worries, anxiety, fears, everything is only in Yoga-Kshema only, isn't it? A person who doesn't know that there is a Lord who is taking care of the world, such a person will have only worries and anxieties in life. Will I get it or not? And whatever I have, will I be able to preserve it or not? So throughout his life, he lives in worries and fears. Now this worry, fear, etc., Bhagavan takes it away from the devotee. Doesn't mean that he becomes a lazy person. Normally people think that, oh, if Bhagavan takes care of everything, then he has nothing else to do. He was lazy. No, not that way. This devotee knows that there is Bhagavan who will give me whatever I need, whenever I need it, in different ways. So when a problem comes in life, what does this devotee think of? He is an Ananya Bhakta. He thinks of God. So whatever problem comes, whatever is needed to face that problem, he gets it automatically. If he needs intelligence, it comes. If he needs resources, it comes. If he needs strength, comes. If he needs manpower, it comes. If it needs money power, that comes. So therefore, he is at ease, free from all kinds of mental disturbances. There are lots and lots of stories of devotees proving this point. Yoga-Kshemam aham vahāmi. Vahāmi means I carry. Not dadami, I give. No, I carry for myself. Just like a child is carried by mother. The child need not worry about Yoga-Kshema. Whose worry it is? It is the mother's worry to take care of Yoga-Kshema of the child, isn't it? The job of the child is only one. The child has to ensure that I am with mother. That's all. Isn't it? So once when I was traveling in a train, I saw one kid along with mother. Now I had this window seat. So this kid wanted window seat, but at the same time this child did not want to leave the mother. So then I asked the child to come and sit besides me, offering my window seat to the child. Mother was little far. Now the child was in two minds. If I choose the window seat, I will have to leave my mother. If I am with my mother, then I will not be able to enjoy the scenes. So now what did this child do? The child came and occupied the window seat, But every time, every maybe 1 or 2 minutes, he would turn back and look if the mother is there or not. This is a wonderful way of living in this world. Ensure that Bhagavan is there with you and then enjoy the world. That's all what you have to do. Enjoy the world. Who says you should not enjoy? Be in the world, enjoy the world, but see to it that your relationship, your link with God is not broken. That's all what you have to do. Now and then, ensure that He is with you. So Sadhu Vaswani, a great saint, he used to say, now and then remind yourself that I am not alone, God is with me. I am not alone, God is with me. That's all what you have to do. Ensure that the link remains and it is alive. The link is not terminated. Don't get too much involved in the world that this link gets cut off. Don't do that. Keep this relationship alive. Yoga-Kshemam vahāmyaham. Now there is a very nice story. They say it's a real incident. So there was one, I don't remember his name. There was a commentator on Mahābhārata. So he was writing commentary on Mahābhārata and he was living in a very poor condition. Did not have much to eat also. So then he came across this verse. He was writing commentary. So then he found this vahāmyaham. He said, vahāmyaham is not right. Bhagwan carrying Yoga-Kshema for his devotee. That is too much. So he cut it and wrote dadāmyaham. I give, I provide. So he made 2 strokes with his pen upon that. Then fine, it was time for his taking bath, Sandhya Vandana, etc. He kept the book. He kept the, books there. He went to take bath. After some time, his wife was there in his kutia. One child comes there. Dark complexion. A little chubby fellow. Very nice to look at. And he was carrying a basket full of rice, dal and cereals and pulses, vegetables, all those things. Now this particular commentator was very, very poor. So he was carrying that basket. And this lady of the house, wife, she came, she saw this boy. So who sent you here? He said, your master sent me here. Now she felt very bad because it was such a big basket and this child was so small. She felt very bad. She immediately took that basket from him and kept it down. But she was in doubt because this person did not have money with him. How can he bring so much of things? He was doubt. Are you sure? This boy said, yes, your master only has sent all this thing. And then as the boy was turning, on the back of this boy, there was this, blood was oozing out. And there were 2 marks. Scratches. Yeah. 2 scratches were seen and the blood was oozing. Then this lady really felt very bad because a small child. Who did this to you? The boy said, your master did it. She could not believe. And then this boy just went away from there. And this person, he came back after his bath, etc. This lady became violent. How could you do this to a small child like such a sweet child? How could you do that? He said, what happened? What did I do? Then she narrated the entire incident. He could not believe. And he was totally confused also. What happened, he could not understand. And then later when he was, resuming his writing commentary, and there he found these 2 marks. And then he understood the mistake he had done. And then, with tears in his eyes, he ran around. So he understood it was none other than Bhagavan Sri Krishna himself. So there is a story there. Immediately he cuts it and puts it back. It is not dadāmyaham, it is vahāmi only, because Bhagavan literally carried the needful to him. So there is such a nice incident. Vahāmyaham. There is another nice story which I am reminded of. How Bhagavan takes care of his devotees. I am sure you must have read this story. So this person was dreaming And in the dream he saw that he was walking along the beach. He was going through the journey of his life. And as he was walking, he just turned back and he saw two pairs of footsteps. He understood that one footstep, one pair is mine, the other one was that of God. And then he was walking, and this is a journey of life. And then lot of tragedies come to him, lot of pain, lot of suffering, lot of misery. And in that miserable state, he just turned back and he found that there was only one pair. Earlier there were two pairs, now he sees only one pair. He became very much depressed. And then in that pain he said, God, in this need of the hour, you have forsaken me. Then he listens a voice saying, my dear child, the pair of footsteps which you are seeing, it is not yours, it is mine. That means, I am the one who is carrying you now. A very touching story. Yoga-Kshema vahāmyaham. The whole point is, it is 100% true. The only thing is, you must have faith in it. And what is the sign that you have faith in this? You will never grumble. You will never complain. You will accept everything in life with the attitude of cheerful acceptance. This is the sign. There was one boy who did not have legs, so he was on the crutches. And he was just watching children playing football. So one elderly person came. He saw this boy without legs watching this football game. So this person came and asked, my dear child, don't you feel dejected, depressed? The children of your age, they are playing football and you are here without legs. Don't you feel miserable? The child asked him a question. Sir, do you feel miserable because you don't have wings? Because when you see the birds, etc. flying, do you feel miserable? This person, no, I have accepted it. The boy said, exactly like that. I have accepted it as a gift from God. So whatever is happening in my life, it is happening for my good. This is the way a devotee takes it, whether good or bad. Externally it may appear to be bad, but a devotee knows that whatever is happening to me, it is a blessing. It is a blessing in disguise. The moment you are able to accept every situation in life with this attitude, you will find your mind is at peace. This is something which you have to train. Swami Vivekananda, when he was going to Chicago to address the World Parliament of Religions, it is said that he did not have any money. Only thing is that ticket was booked. So he boarded the ship. He was seated there in a corner. He did not know where he was going. He did not have any money with him. No contact address. All alone to a country where the culture was totally different. But he was at peace. He was sitting there silently. So one gentleman entered the ship. He saw this Swami. So he asked the Swami, Swamiji, may I know where you are going? So Swamiji said, I am going to Chicago to address the World Parliament of Religions. I represent Hindu religion. Then this gentleman asked, Swamiji, you are going to Chicago? I also stay in Chicago. May I know where you are going to stay in Chicago? Vivekananda said, maybe I will stay at your place. Just imagine the state of that mind. Compare that with our journey. Suppose we want to go to some Mangaluru or somewhere. In the train, the way the people create mess. The destination has not yet reached. Half an hour earlier itself, they will put all those luggage, everything on the doorstep and they will start waiting. And 100 times they will call. Isn't it? So much of worry, so much of tension, so much of anxiety. It is nice to just watch their faces in the railway stations, etc. That itself can be a good time pass. How much worry people have. Anxiety, excitement. This is what happens when you ignore God, in short. Yoga-Kshemam vahāmyaham. So this is something which we have to practice in our day-to-day life. Whatever comes, accept cheerfully. Some couple of years back, I met one cancer patient. And this person was very interesting. He said, Swamiji, I am not going to go for any treatment. If cancer has come, I accept it as a gift from God. He did not go for any treatment, he just allowed. And he said, Swamiji, do you know one thing? It has come as a blessing in disguise. Now I know for sure I am going to die, number one. So now my mind has no choice other than holding on to God. Swamiji, believe it or not, my mind is firmly rooted in God now. I have no kind of distraction because mind has no other choice. In order to get some peace, there is no other choice other than, if I had gone for some other treatment for cancer, chemotherapy, etc., mind would have entertained some hopes that maybe I will survive. Now that hope itself is not there. So now my mind is fully focused upon Lord. Also I have understood one thing, all these relatives, friends, etc., none can be trusted. There is only one God who is my true friend, who will be ever with me. Now this person was at peace. He is suffering from cancer, but such a cheerful acceptance. Of course he passed away. But he cheerfully gave up his life. Such people are also there in the world. Swami Tapovan Maharāj, he never went for any treatment. Puja Gurudev Swami Chinmaya went to him. Those final days, he had become literally, skin and bone. There is a particular photo also there. I am sure you must have seen it. You could literally see the skull and then Gurudev went to him and said, Swamiji, I am ready to give you the best treatment. I know the doctors, I know the best hospitals in Delhi. If you can just say yes, I will give you the best treatment to you. You know what Tapovan Maharāj said? He said, Chinmaya, on one side God is waiting for me with outstretched hands. You want me to extend my stay in this cage of flesh and bones? You want me to extend my stay in this cage? This is what he replied. So there are wonderful people in this world, even when the greatest tragedy, now what is the greatest tragedy? Death is the greatest tragedy. They are able to face it. Why are they able to face it? Because they know this great truth, that they can never be separated from God even after death. So when we see such examples in day-to-day life, then our confidence in this knowledge becomes stronger, isn't it? Our faith in this knowledge becomes stronger. Yes, there are people who are living it. I read a very nice Zen story. So one emperor was conquering village after village. So in one of the villages, all the people, their villagers ran away from there. Emperor was coming along with his army men, soldiers. And there he finds a Zen master seated under a tree meditating. So this emperor goes and asks this Zen master, do you know who I am? I can chop off your head without even blinking an eye. Zen master smiled at him and said, do you know who I am? I can get my head chopped even without blinking an eye. This is called fearlessness. Chopping someone else's head without blinking, that is not something great. But getting my head chopped off without blinking, that is great. This kind of strength a person gains when he knows that he is with God. When he experiences the presence of God all the time. Of course, from the worldly standpoint also it is true. Whatever he needs from the worldly standpoint, whatever material he needs, whatever wealth he needs, whatever worldly objects he needs, everything Bhagavan provides. But at the time of death also, what is the most important thing? Fearlessness is the most important thing at the time of death. That also Bhagavan provides. Yoga-Kshemam aham vahāmyaham. Whatever you need, strength, confidence, peace, joy, resources, knowledge, fulfillment, contentment, everything, there is only one source, and that is Bhagavan. Now Bhagavan talks about another class of seekers. Let us chant verse number 23 and 24. Yepyanya-devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhipurvakam aham hi sarva yajñānām bhokta ca prabhureva ca natu mam abhijananti tattvena-tascha vanti te yepyanya-devata bhaktaha yajante shraddhayanvitaha tepi mameva kaunteya yajantya vidhipurvakam aham hi sarva yajñānām bhokta ca prabhureva ca natu mam abhijananti tattvena-tascha vanti te. Yes. Ye, those anya-devata bhaktaha. They are bhaktas, devotees. But what kind of devotees? Anya-devata bhaktaha. Devotees of other gods. Yajante shraddhayanvitaha. They worship some other god, but they worship with great faith, great devotion, etc. Bhagavan says, te api mam eva yajanti. They are also worshipping me alone, but avidhi purvakam. But not in the proper way, in the wrong way. Now what do you mean by anya devata bhakta? Now there are a lot of misinterpretation here. Anyone who is worshipping other than Krishna is an anya devata bhakta. It is not like that. If anybody is interpreting this verse that way, it only shows the immaturity of the person. And they quote this verse. You should be devotee of Krishna alone, because Krishna himself has said that you should not worship anyone. And they quote this. What do you mean by anya devata bhaktaha? Now this can be seen from different levels. It all depends on how do you define devata. First we will see the secondary meaning, and then we will see the primary meaning. Who is a devata? Devata comes from the term div. Div means to illumine. So Pujya Gurudev has given a beautiful definition. Devata means the sense organs. Why do you call sense organs as devatas? Sense organs illumine to you the presence of a sense object. So the presence of the sense object is known because it is illumined by a devata, and therefore the sense organs are called devatas. So if sense organ is called devata, what do you mean by devata bhakti? It means indulgence in sense objects. Anya devata bhakta. So these devotees, they don't want me They want the pleasures of the senses alone. They do the worship of the sense organs. Worshipping the sense organs means what? Whatever the sense organs need, give it. What does the sense organs need? Sense objects. So give sense objects to the sense organ. That is called Anya Devata Yajanam, worshipping. Now what does Bhagavan say? They are worshipping avidhi purvakam, in the wrong way. What do these people want? They want happiness. How do they try to gain happiness? By indulging in sense objects. No doubt, indulgence in sense objects will give you happiness, but Bhagavan says that is avidhi purvakam, wrong way. Why is it wrong way? What is the right way of gaining happiness? Abidance in the self, shifting our attention to this consciousness, because this consciousness itself is the very abode of happiness, isn't it? It is Satchit Anand. That is the right way, but this person, what is the way in which he is seeking happiness? He is seeking happiness through the sense objects. So this is avidhi purvakam. And what is the price he pays for it? Bhagavan says, Ataha te chyavanti. Therefore they fall. Verse number 24, last pada. Natu mam abhijananti ataha te chyavanti. Thus what happens? They don't come to know me, and thus they fall. So we have seen this. What happens when we indulge in sense pleasures, sense objects? Mind develops more and more craving. You become a slave of your mind, right? Raga dvesha increases. You become the slave of the world, slave of the mind, and thus you are bound to this world. This bondage is called fall. This is one meaning. Second meaning. There, Devata can be taken as people who are in the influential positions in the world. So, Anya Devata Bhakta means what? Whenever they have a problem, they try to seek solution for these problems through worldly means, by approaching influential people. To give an example, suppose I want a driving license, and I don't want to go through the straight path. I don't want to follow dharma. I want it immediately, quickly, without going through the test. So what should I do? So I have to approach a Devata. Which Devata I have to approach? RTO is the Devata. He is capable of blessing. He has certain powers also. Right? So then you have to worship him. How do you worship him? You have to please him by giving what he wants. And what is the thing which he wants? We all know. So properly worship him, please him, butter him, and then what will he do? He will bless you. So Bhagavan says this is avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam means a wrong way. Not following the path of righteousness, not following the path of dharma. And therefore end result, what is the end result? Tattvena chyavanti, they fall. In various ways they fall. Isn't it? A person who takes immoral ways, illegal ways, unlawful ways, definitely he will suffer. Because the law of this nature is, as you sow, so shall you reap. Right. This is also a secondary meaning only. Now what is the primary meaning? Primary meaning is, this particular devotee, according to him, there is no one God. According to him, there are so many gods like Rahu, Ketu, Shani, etc. So whenever he has a problem in a particular department, he goes to that particular God and tries to please that God. He doesn't have this knowledge that there is only one God. So then what does he do? He goes to that God. Now every God, they are all small inferior gods. Every such inferior gods have got a particular ritual to be performed. There are certain particular mantras to be chanted. Certain naivedyas have to be offered. Especially tamasic, rajasic, etc. Naivedya means blood only. You have to kill certain animal and then offer blood. Tamasic bhakti it is called. And the devata also is Raudra devata, terrible form, etc. They are all tamasa bhakti. So now what does this person do? And his desire is also very, immoral kind of thing. My neighbor's 2 legs should be broken. This is the kind of desire he has. Such and such person is giving trouble to me, he should be killed. So they do all this kind of black magic. Now this person is also doing bhakti only. He is seeking the higher power. He is trying to please a particular god. He is also doing all kinds of ritual. Shraddhayanvitaha, with faith only he is doing all these rituals. What does Bhagavan say? But they are worshipping me avidhi purvakam. Actually that worship also goes towards his Lord only, because Bhagavan says aham hi sarva yajñānām bhokta cha prabhurevacha. I alone am the bhokta, the receiver of all those worship, and at the same time Prabhu, the one who is capable of blessing them. So now what Bhagavan is trying to say is, all these anya devata, all these inferior gods in this world, they don't have power of their own. All those powers which these inferior gods have, it is nothing but my own power, expressing through them. So the normal example given is like the central government, and there are so many ministers. Each minister has got a particular power in a particular department. That power doesn't belong to him. That power actually belongs to the government. He can use or misuse. Isn't it? In the same way, Bhagavan says, I am the source of all power. Therefore, come to me. Don't go to these little gods. Now here, little god doesn't mean Shiva, Rama, Ganapati, etc. No. We have to understand, you may worship any god, not necessarily Krishna, etc. But understand there is only one God. This understanding has to be there. Don't think that there are so many gods with so many independent powers. No. Those gods, all these gods have powers, no doubt. They have limited powers. They have limited powers in the limited department. But even those powers which they have, it is coming from one and the same source. This has to be understood. Just like water tank. You have so many taps. In all the tap you get water. But if a child sees this tap, he will think that the tap is giving water. Actually, water is coming from where? It is coming from the main tank. Isn't it? In the same way, these gods also have got powers. Bhagavan is saying, I am the very source of all these powers. So don't get attached to these little gods. You will only fall. You will never have an opportunity to develop love for me. In short, when you have problems in life, come to me. I will give you the best solution to you. If you go to these little gods, number one, you will never get best solution. These gods have no choice of their own. When you worship a particular such inferior god, rituals are normally very complicated. Complicated rituals, number one. Very difficult to perform, and many times it involves a lot of killing, bloodshed, etc. And even if that god is pleased, he will give you whatever you have asked, without even thinking whether it will do you good to you or not. Are you able to follow what I am saying? Because he is helpless. That particular god, that inferior god, he is helpless. And another thing is, these inferior gods become strong when a particular devotee worships him. It is said that these gods, Rahu, Shini, Ketu, etc., they become strong. Their strength resides in the worship which they receive from the devotees. So therefore, when these devotees worship them, they immediately give whatever they want, so that they will worship him more and more. He will not think whether that particular thing is good for you or not. He will just give you. Because he wants you. He wants your worship. It is something like a politician, Politician wants the followers. Because politician wants power. Power comes from votes. And in order to get votes, you have to work. Groundwork has to be done. Putting posters, banners, etc. For that, he needs followers. So what does he do? Whatever follows, they come. Whenever he is in power, using that power, misusing that power, he gives little, bread crumbs to these followers, so that they will ever be with him. Because this relationship is interdependent, though inauspicious. The politician wants the followers, and the followers also want the politician, because if some work has to be done, it is very easy. Here is a person in power, approach him, he will get his work done. Are you able to understand? This is exactly the relation between the inferior gods and their devotees. Bhagavan is saying, don't approach them. Come to me. If you take your problems to God, He will give you the best solutions, whatever is good for you. So it is said, what are the 4 ways in which Bhagavan answers your prayers? Whenever you take a problem to God, you seek a solution, what are the 4 ways? Number 1, yes. Whatever you ask, He gives you. Number 2, no. If He finds that it is not good for you, He will not give you. Number 3, wait. When the appropriate time comes, He gives you. Number 4, take. Here is something better. What you are asking is something inferior. There is something good, better than what you are asking. He gives you. It is said these are the 4 ways in which Bhagavan answers your prayer. So therefore understand, the Supreme Lord is your well-wisher, not merely your wish fulfiller. He is your well-wisher. So whenever we have problems in life, where should we take these problems to? To the Supreme Lord. If you take your problems to these little gods, He will not be your well-wisher. He may at the most be your wish fulfiller. And most of the time, it will do you more harm than good. Many stories we hear. They approach these ghosts and evil spirits, etc. to get their work done. And their work is, they will get their work done, but in the end, they repent. You will see all this in the newspaper. Kutti Chatan Seva, etc. Have you read that? In Kerala, it is very famous. You will see advertisement. You have any problem? Come to me. Now, this person has a particular ghost or evil spirit. He has kept him under his control through certain siddhis, certain powers, etc. And he uses this evil spirit to get his work done. All those stories, finally, it is only tragedy. So here Bhagavan is mentioning that. Now they are also devotees, no doubt, but they are Anya Devata Bhaktas. So the best thing is seek God. Seek God directly. He is the one from whom all the powers come from. If you are going to a government office, whom will you try to contact? A clerk or an officer? If you have good contact with the officer, your work will get done easily, isn't it? So higher your influence, easier your work get done. Yes or no? Now Bhagavan is saying, I am the highest officer, come to me. Don't go to these lower gods, come to me. What are the advantages of seeking that Supreme Lord? The advantages is, every time you see your problem getting solved, your faith in God increases. Your love for God increases. Your ego comes down. Because you come to know that the thing has been done not because of my power, but because of His grace. So ego also comes down. And moreover, you get the best solution in life. So therefore, by all means, we must learn to take our problems to God. Now Bhagavan is indicating a law of this universe. What is that? Let us chant the next one. Yanti devavrata devan पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः भूतानि यान्ति भूतेज्याः यान्ति मद्याजिनोऽपि माम् यान्ति देवव्रता देवान् पितॄन् यान्ति पितृव्रताः. Yes. Whatever you seek in life, that you will get. This is the law of this universe. Devavrataha devan yanti. Those who seek the gods, they will go to gods. Pitruvrataha pitrun yanti. Those who seek ancestors, worship ancestors, they will go to the world of ancestors. Bhutejyaha bhutani yanti. Those who worship ghosts, pichacha, bhuta, preta, etc., they go to such worlds. Madhyajinaha mam yanti. Those who worship me, they come to me. Choice is yours. Menu is given. You have to choose. In short, what Bhagavan is trying to say is, don't choose anyone else. Choose me alone. And this is what we find in the world, in this world also. Different branches of knowledge, they are available in this world. What you choose, you will be taken to, you will be drawn to such world. A person who chooses sports, in which world will he go? The world of sports. Right? Like for example, cricket. He is mad after cricket. Then naturally he will have magazines of cricket. He will have cricketers all around him. He will be going to cricketing ground. He will be practicing cricket. He will be exposed to the cricketing world, isn't it? Now who chose that world? He himself, by entertaining cricketing thought. Similarly, the world of politics, the world of science, the world of technology, the world of medicine, the world of this, underworld also. All your worlds are chosen by you. And how do you choose these worlds? You choose these worlds by choosing thoughts. You entertain a particular thought, and when you continuously entertain that thought, slowly, the world around you starts changing. And the world will be exactly the world of your mind, of your imagination. So if this is true, why not make use of this choice wisely? And what is the wisest choice? The wisest decision you can make is think of God. Naturally, you will reach God. Yanti madhyajinaha mam. Antakale cha mameva smaran muktva kalevaram yaf prayati samadbhavam yati nastyatra samshayaha. Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajatyante kalevaram tam tameveti kaunteya sada tadbhava bhavitaha. At the time of death, what kind of thoughts you entertain in the mind, in that direction you go. In those worlds you go. So at the time of death, the thought which you entertain is most important. But at the time of death, what kind of thoughts will come? The thoughts which you have been entertaining throughout your life, that alone will come. You can't change your thought at the last moment. In the end, I will chant Narayana and escape. You can't. You can't. For many of us, Ajamila is the role model. You can't choose thought at the time of death. Prana prayana samaye kapha vata pittehi kantavarodhana vidho smaranam kutaste. Vata, pitta, kapha, etc. At the time of death, that pain. How is it so easy to remember God? Unless you have trained your mind to think God. Isn't it? So therefore, you have to practice it. Let that momentum of God thought be so intense that at the time of death also, it should become natural to us, effortless to us. That is why all sadhana is prescribed. And now next topic is, Bhagavan says, how easy it is to worship me. It is very, very easy compared to worshipping these Anya Devatas. Anya Devata is very complicated. If you chant the mantra wrongly, gone. Results will be totally reverse. But Bhagavan says, worshipping me is very, very easy. Susukham kartum it is. What is that? We will see tomorrow. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhaved Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.